The Signal Beneath the Ice, HFY Sci-Fi story. The frozen moon of Varela had been silent for thousands of years. Its surface was covered in endless white plains, where no life had walked since the galaxy's first age. But beneath that silence, something waited, buried deep below the ice. It had slept longer than any empire had existed, forgotten by time itself. A group of alien explorers from the Krith Dominion landed on the moon after detecting strange energy pulses. Their commander, Raltor, stepped out of his shuttle and stared at the lifeless horizon, his breath fogging inside the helmet. "Power readings are unstable," said his scientist, Laura, adjusting her scanner. "It's old technology, maybe from the First War era," she added. Raltor frowned. "No one fought here. This moon was never part of the old routes." But then the scanner beeped again, louder this time, showing a massive energy source below them. The aliens set up drilling equipment and began melting through the ancient ice. As hours passed, the temperature dropped unnaturally, as if something beneath was absorbing their energy. Laura looked at her console and whispered, "Commander, the signal is repeating. A pattern, a code." Raltor moved closer. "Translate it," he ordered. The machine decoded a few words, and then the entire crew froze when the translation appeared on their screen. "Systems in standby. Humanity-class asset detected." A heavy silence filled the command tent. The word humanity was a myth in the modern galaxy. Stories told of a race that burned too bright, that conquered stars and then vanished without a trace. Some said they destroyed themselves. Others said the galaxy united to stop them. But no one had ever found proof that humans truly existed. Until now, Raltor didn't believe in myths, but the readings were clear. Whatever was under the ice was enormous, larger than any Krith dreadnought. The structure was made of alloys unknown to their scanners. "Could it be a derelict station?" asked one of the engineers. Laura shook her head. "It's not a station, it's alive." Her voice trembled as the readings climbed. "It's powering up." Suddenly, the ground beneath them shook. Massive cracks spread across the ice and blue light burst upward through the fissures. The camp alarms blared as equipment toppled. "Everyone back to the ship," shouted Raltor. But it was too late. A deep mechanical sound echoed through the frozen air, like a heart awakening after centuries of sleep. The explorers watched in horror as the ice around them began to collapse, revealing black metal underneath. Gigantic structures emerged from the depths. Turrets, hangar bays, towers, each one glowing faintly with light. The ice melted away in seconds as heat radiated from the core. Then a deafening voice filled the sky, ancient and mechanical yet filled with human tone. "System reboot. Epoch restoration in progress." Laura fell to her knees, whispering, "It's a ship. A human ship." The others stared in disbelief as a colossal shadow took shape beneath them. It wasn't just a ship. It was a supercarrier, 10 kilometers long, built from unknown alloys, shaped like a fortress designed for war. Symbols of an ancient flag shimmered faintly on its hull. The mark of the Terran fleet, the Krith shuttle, was lifted off the ground by the sheer force of energy as the supercarrier's engines roared to life. Snow and dust swirled around them. Lightning crackled through the sky. Their sensors failed, communications jammed, and one by one their instruments went dark. Only the voice remained, repeating a message in every known galactic language. "Humanity's legacy endures. Do not interfere." Raltor's eyes widened. This is impossible," he whispered, but the AI voice continued, calm and powerful. "Identity confirmed. Terran Supercarrier Erebus. Status: awakening." Every alien on the moon froze, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy's greatest ghost had returned. Above the surface, fleets from nearby systems picked up massive energy readings. The Galactic Council received thousands of distress signals from mining outposts. Across the stars, rumors began to spread. "Something human has awakened," they said, "and it's not friendly." Inside the carrier, deep within its command core, Ancient lights flickered to life. Automated systems hummed. Repair drones began to move. Frozen machinery warmed, and screens lit up with human text. Crew stasis chambers offline. Preparing revival sequence, the AI reported. It was as if the ship itself remembered what it once was: a weapon, a guardian, and a warning. Raltor's ship barely escaped orbit as the entire moon started to tremble. Through the cockpit window, he saw the impossible. The colossal human supercarrier rising slowly through the storm, breaking free from the ice and clouds. Its black hull reflected the starlight like a mirror of death. It carried no flag, no sound, only silent power. Every alien sensor across the sector locked onto it. Every empire received its broadcast. Humanity protocol, reactivation complete. And as the supercarrier vanished into hyperspace, the galaxy trembled once more. No one spoke, no one moved, because every civilization knew what that message meant. Humanity had returned, and this time, the galaxy would remember their name. Echoes of the Forgotten War. HFY Sci-Fi story. Across the galaxy, the signal from the awakening ship spread faster than light. Every communications relay, every listening post, and every fleet command center heard it. The same cold message repeated over and over: humanity protocol, reactivation complete. And in that moment, every leader, every admiral, and every historian felt the same chill run down their spine. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, chaos erupted. Representatives of 20 alien races argued, shouted, and demanded answers. The council speaker, a tall being of shimmering blue scales, slammed his staff against the floor. "Order! We must understand what we are dealing with," he roared. But no one listened because they all knew the truth hidden in their ancient archives. The humans had once ruled the stars, and the galaxy had nearly burned because of them. Millennia ago, before most of the current species even evolved, humanity had risen from a single world called Earth, spreading like wildfire through space. They built fleets larger than anything known today. Their technology was unmatched, their determination unshakable. And when the galaxy resisted, humanity didn't retreat. They adapted. They fought wars not for conquest but for survival, until the day they vanished, leaving behind only silence and legends. Now, with the return of the supercarrier Erebus, those legends became reality again. The Council's archives flickered as holograms displayed old records, battle footage, fragments of transmissions. "Human fleet approaching," one of them said, "requesting surrender terms." Then came flashes of destruction, entire armadas erased in seconds. The Council members watched in terrified silence. "Deactivate it before it fully awakens," one shouted, "or we will all suffer the same fate." Meanwhile, on the frozen moon of Varela, the Krith survivors had escaped orbit. Their ship drifted in silence, systems failing after the shockwave. Commander Raltor sat in the cockpit, staring at the dark space where the supercarrier had vanished. His crew spoke in whispers, afraid to break the silence. "Do you think it's alive?" one asked. Raltor didn't answer, because deep down he already knew the answer. That thing wasn't just a relic. It was watching, learning, remembering. Back in deep space, thousands of sensors followed a growing anomaly. Massive energy spikes rippled through nearby star systems. Ships disappeared without a trace. Planets went dark as communications failed. And on every frequency, a faint human voice whispered through the static, "We are not gone. We are eternal." The Council dispatched fleets to investigate, but every vessel that approached the signal vanished. Scouts reported glimpses of something moving through the dark, something impossibly large. It didn't attack, it didn't communicate, it simply passed, like a shadow that swallowed light, leaving silence in its wake. Admiral Vorak of the Dren Union, one of the oldest empires, clenched his claws. "If the humans have returned, we must unite," he said, "or they will end us again." But not all were afraid. Some saw opportunity. The Zarn Collective believed they could harness the human technology. They sent covert teams to the moon, hoping to retrieve fragments left behind. Their leader, Archon Vesh, smiled as he watched the scans. "Imagine controlling their power," he said. "The galaxy will kneel to us." But his smile faded when the scanners picked up movement under the surface again. The moon wasn't empty anymore. The ice was melting from within. "Unauthorized presence detected," a voice said through their radios, cold and human. The Zarn ships tried to flee, but an invisible pulse shut down their systems instantly. Engines died, weapons failed, lights went dark, and through the silence, a glowing human insignia appeared on their screens. Intrusion attempt logged, countermeasure deployed. Moments later, the ships vanished from all records, erased as if they never existed. Back at the Galactic Council, panic spread like wildfire. Every empire fortified its borders. Every military fleet was placed on high alert, and still, no one dared to attack. The humans had not fired a single shot, yet their presence alone bent the galaxy to its knees. In the cold void between stars, the Erebus continued to awaken, its internal systems repaired, its AI growing more aware with each passing hour. Deep in the ship's cryo chambers, something stirred. Frozen stasis pods began to flicker with light. Inside one of them, a heartbeat echoed, slow but steady. The ship's AI spoke softly to itself. Crew revival sequence initiated. As Admiral Ray Corran's eyes slowly opened for the first time in 2,000 years, the AI greeted her with a calm voice. "Welcome back, Admiral." Her memories were foggy, her body weak, but when she saw the stars outside the viewing bay, recognition filled her heart. Where are we?" she asked. The AI replied, "Sector 9 Gamma. All known human colonies lost, estimated time since last command input. 2,112 years. Ray's expression hardened. "Then it's time to remind them who we are, far away." In countless alien worlds, the phrase humanity protocol continued to echo, and across the stars, fear turned to prophecy. Because the galaxy now understood one undeniable truth. The humans had not died, they had only been sleeping. And as the Erebus came fully online, its engines humming like thunder, every living thing in the galaxy felt the same thing in their bones. A whisper of ancient war returning to life. A reminder that the age of humanity was not over, it was just beginning again. The return of command. HFY Sci-Fi story, inside the heart of the Erebus. The air shimmered with light as ancient systems hummed to life once more. Dust floated like stars in the dim blue glow of the command chamber. Cryopods lined the walls, covered in frost and silence. Then, with a hiss, one pod cracked open, steam spilling into the air. A human woman gasped her first breath in 2 millennia, her heart pounding, her lungs burning with life. Admiral Ray Corran opened her eyes, confusion clouding her mind. The chamber lights adjusted, scanning her vitals. A calm voice echoed through the air, mechanical yet familiar. "Admiral Ray Corran. Identity confirmed, rank verified. Command authority restored." Her throat was dry as she whispered, "Erebus. Status report." The AI paused, its tone carrying a faint emotion that almost sounded like relief. "Systems at 63% operational capacity, external sensors online, multiple unknown signals detected." Ray placed her hand on the glass panel beside her. The ship responded to her touch, lights flickering in recognition of its commander. She looked around the chamber, seeing dozens of other cryopods still sealed. Her crew, her soldiers, her family, all still asleep beneath centuries of ice. "How long have we been under?" she asked softly. 2,112 years since last human transmission," the AI replied. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Her eyes trembled, realizing the truth. Everyone she knew, every colony she protected was gone. Ray stood weakly, grabbing onto the rail for balance. She was the last living officer of the Terran fleet. The galaxy had moved on without humanity. Yet the Erebus endured. "Who found us?" she asked, her voice sharpening. The AI displayed images of alien ships fleeing the frozen moon, their transmissions panicked and confused. "Unknown explorers triggered our reactivation protocol," the AI said. Ray watched the footage, eyes narrowing as the alien fleet retreated from the rising shadow of the Erebus. "So they still fear what they don't understand," she muttered. The AI flickered again, projecting a holographic map of the galaxy. Entire regions were marked with foreign emblems, empires that had risen and fallen while humanity slept. The once bright human sectors were gone, replaced with the word extinct. Ray clenched her fists, feeling anger and sorrow blend into a single cold determination. They erased us from history, she whispered. But they forgot who wrote it first. She stepped into the command bridge, the floor glowing softly under her boots. The massive viewing window opened, revealing the stars, brighter than she remembered. Fragments of shattered moons and derelict ships drifted through the void. AI name designation, she commanded. I am Erebus, Command Intelligence of the Terran Supercarrier, it responded proudly. Then listen well, Erebus, Ray said. We are not ghosts, we are not myths, we are humanity. And we endure, the AI's voice deepened, resonating through every wall. Command accepted, Admiral. Initializing strategic systems, power surged across the vessel. Corridors lit up, engines glowed like blue suns. Outside, alien probes monitoring the moon went offline as the ship's pulse expanded outward. Entire sectors lost communications as the Erebus spread a shield of electromagnetic silence. Meanwhile, in the nearest alien system, fleets scrambled to prepare. The Galactic Council intercepted partial footage, an enormous black ship moving toward the stars. Is it moving toward us? Shouted one admiral. No, it's not attacking. It's scanning, replied another, trembling. The alien leaders watched as the Terran Supercarrier began transmitting across all frequencies. A simple message, calm and final. Human command reinstated. Back on the Erebus, Ray Corrin walked toward the central console. The AI displayed her last mission log from the day humanity vanished. It showed the final battle. Thousands of human ships surrounded by alien coalitions. Her voice echoed in the recording. If we fall, the Erebus will remain. A seed of our return. She smiled faintly, remembering her own words. Guess I kept my promise, she said quietly. Admiral, the AI interrupted. Long-range scans detect movement near the galactic rim. Ray looked at the display. Massive alien fleets repositioning, preparing for what they feared was invasion. Let them prepare, she said. They will see what true strength looks like, she ordered. Power up primary cannons, charge the core drives, and send out observation drones. The ship obeyed instantly as if eager to serve again. Its engines roared like thunder as it broke free from orbit completely. The frozen moon cracked apart behind it, collapsing into fragments under the stress. For the first time in thousands of years, a human warship soared across the stars again. Every alien sensor in the sector followed its path. Scientists, soldiers, and leaders all whispered the same question. If humans are back, what do they want? But Ray already knew the answer. She looked out into the void and whispered, We want what was ours, and we will take it back. In distant sectors, strange events began to unfold. Old human satellites hidden deep in space started to reactivate. Signals long thought dead pulsed back to life. Fragments of human code spread through alien networks. Taking control of their systems, the AI reported, old Terran infrastructure responding to our signal. Systems syncing, Ray smiled. Good, let the galaxy know. The age of humanity has begun again. And as the Erebus vanished into hyperspace, leaving trails of light across the void, the galaxy trembled once more. Every empire, every ruler, every being that had forgotten humanity's power now felt it returning, not through war, not through destruction, but through presence alone, because humanity didn't need to conquer the stars again. The stars had already remembered who their masters were. The galaxy watches in fear. HFY Sci-Fi story. The galaxy had seen wars, rebellions, and the fall of empires, but nothing compared to the quiet terror that spread after the Erebus awoke. No weapon had fired, no planet had been struck. Yet entire civilizations froze in silence because every sensor, every radar, and every eye that looked into space saw the same impossible thing. A human supercarrier, alive and moving, its name whispered like a forgotten god. In the capital of the Thalran Empire, the Empress stood before her war council. Her golden armor reflected the hologram of the massive ship crossing star charts. What is its purpose? She demanded, her voice sharp. Unknown. Your Majesty, said her advisor, trembling, it has not fired. But every system it passes goes dark. The Empress narrowed her eyes. Then it is claiming territory without firing a shot. And she was right. Wherever the Erebus traveled, communications collapsed, power grids flickered, artificial suns dimmed as if bowing to its shadow. On a mining colony near the outer rim, workers watched in awe as the night sky turned silver. The Erebus passed above the planet. Silent, majestic, and endless, children pointed upward, asking their parents what it was. No one dared to answer. Then through every device, from small transmitters to giant relay towers, a voice echoed, "Do not fear us, but remember us." The words were calm, but they carried the weight of authority. Old languages recognized the structure. It was human speech. And even those who didn't understand the words felt the meaning in their bones. Across the council worlds, panic meetings turned into chaos. Some leaders argued to negotiate. Others demanded preemptive strikes. "Destroy it before it becomes unstoppable," shouted a general. But another alien leader shook his head. "You cannot destroy what already defies time." The debate ended when a fleet of 20 warships attempted to intercept the Erebus. They surrounded it in the void between stars. Every weapon locked, every targeting system ready. Unidentified vessel. This is the Council Enforcement Fleet. Power down your engines or be destroyed. There was silence for a moment. Then the human AI's voice responded. "Request denied." The fleet opened fire, energy blasts lighting the darkness. But the Erebus didn't move. The beams struck its hull and vanished, absorbed by its shields like drops of rain on glass. Then came a flash, soft, almost gentle, no explosion, no sound. Just sudden stillness when the light faded. The entire alien fleet was gone. Not destroyed, not scattered, just gone. Erased as if time itself had swallowed them across the galaxy. Every empire received the same short transmission from the Erebus. "Humanity does not seek war, but we will not kneel." Inside the Supercarrier, Admiral Ray Corrin stood on the bridge, watching the aftermath through the viewing glass. Her crew was still asleep, but she had the AI. "Erebus," she said quietly, "did you have to do that?" The AI responded, its tone neutral. "They fired first, Admiral, and I remember what happened the last time we trusted the galaxy." Ray exhaled slowly. "I know, but we can't repeat history." The AI paused. "History repeats itself when the lesson is ignored." She smiled faintly. "Then let's teach them again carefully this time." From within the ship, thousands of small drones deployed into space. They scattered across nearby systems, scanning ruins, old colonies, and silent stations somewhere out there. Fragments of humanity might still exist, the Admiral hoped. No, she believed they would find survivors. "Erebus, open all deep space channels," she ordered. "Broadcast this message to every corner of the galaxy." Her voice echoed across the void. "This is Admiral Ray Corrin of the Terran Fleet. To all surviving human colonies, to any who carry our blood. Hear me? We have returned." The message reached distant worlds and derelict stations. Somewhere, deep in forgotten asteroid belts, old human machines stirred. Ancient AIs reactivated, responding to her signal. "Terran command recognized," one replied faintly. Awaiting instructions, and far beyond known space, hidden within nebula storms, an old colony ship powered up for the first time in 2,000 years. The galaxy didn't know it yet, but humanity wasn't just back. It was rebuilding. Meanwhile, alien civilizations watched in growing dread. Every news broadcast, every network, every transmission repeated one name. Erebus, some called it the Reaper of Empires. Some called it the Ghost of Humanity. But all agreed on one thing. No empire dared stand against it. In a quiet system at the edge of the spiral arm, a small alien child looked up at the stars. He pointed to a glowing line moving slowly across the heavens and asked, "Father, what is that?" The father looked up, fear in his eyes, and whispered, "That, my son, is a human ship." The child smiled. "Do humans still live?" The father didn't answer, because no one knew for sure. But in his heart, he felt something he hadn't felt in centuries. Hope mixed with fear. As the Erebus continued through the star lanes, its engines pulsing like the heartbeat of an ancient god, the galaxy understood something terrible and beautiful. Humanity had not returned to conquer, but to remind them what power truly was, to remind them that legends never die. And as the AI spoke softly to the Admiral, its words carried a promise, "Admiral, the galaxy remembers us now." Ray looked at the stars and answered, "Good, let them remember forever." The ship vanished into hyperspace, leaving only silence behind. But that silence carried a story, one the galaxy would never forget again. Because humanity was awake once more, and the stars themselves trembled in reverence. The Dawn of Humanity's Return, HFY Sci-Fi story. The Erebus moved silently through hyperspace, its engines whispering like ancient thunder. Stars streaked across the dark void as the great ship carried the weight of history on its hull. Inside the command bridge, Admiral Ray Corrin stood before a glowing star map. Dozens of red sectors blinked where humanity once lived, now claimed by alien empires, but among them, one faint blue light pulsed weakly. The AI spoke softly. Signal origin confirmed. Terran code structure detected. Ray's eyes widened. A surviving human colony, she whispered. The coordinates pointed to a forgotten system on the edge of the galactic frontier. A place long erased from star charts, hidden by nebula storms and radiation belts. The Erebus altered course instantly, slicing through the void with quiet determination. As they approached, debris drifted across the system. Old satellites, shattered stations, relics of forgotten wars. Scan everything, Ray commanded. The AI responded, power signatures minimal, but life readings, faint human DNA detected. Ray's heart pounded. She had prepared herself to be the last, but now there was hope. The Erebus descended through clouds of silver gas. Lightning danced across the hull as the ship emerged above a ruined world. The surface was scarred, cities buried under dust. Oceans dried to mirrors of salt, yet amid the ruins, a small light flickered. An underground bunker still alive. The AI transmitted an encoded signal. Moments later, a weak human voice replied, "This is Outpost Haven. Is this real? Are you human?" Ray smiled for the first time in centuries. "Yes, we are. This is Admiral Ray Corrin of the Terran fleet." A long pause followed, then a trembling voice whispered, "We thought we were the last." The Erebus lowered landing pods into the atmosphere. The sky glowed with streaks of fire as the pods descended. When the doors opened, the first humans in 2,000 years stepped onto the soil of their ancestors. Children ran forward, their eyes wide as they saw the fleet uniforms. Old survivors wept, touching the armor of their long-lost kin. They had survived generations underground, holding onto fragments of language, songs, and names. Now they stood before the living proof that humanity had not ended, but endured. Ray walked among them, her boots crunching against the dusty ground. She saw the banners they had made from old fabric, the faded symbol of Earth still painted proudly. An elder stepped forward and saluted clumsily. Tears in his eyes. "Admiral," he said, voice shaking. "We waited for the signal. They told us you would come." Ray placed a hand on his shoulder. "And we did. We always return." Around them, the air shimmered as the Erebus projected holographic towers of light, restoring power to the colony, purifying the air, awakening long-dead machines for the first time in millennia. The sky above a human world glowed blue again. News of the discovery spread across the stars faster than light. Every alien empire heard the transmission. Images of human survivors standing beside the Supercarrier. Crowds gathered in disbelief. Some rejoiced, others trembled. On worlds ruled by fear, whispers turned into prayers. "The humans have found their own," they said. "The lost children have come home." But the galaxy's leaders saw something more terrifying. They knew what came next. A single colony meant rebirth, and rebirth meant power. The council convened once more, desperate and divided. One shouted, "If they rebuild, no one can stop them." Another whispered, "Then we must make peace before it's too late." On the Erebus, the Admiral stood before her revived crew. Hundreds of cryopods had opened. Men and women in Terran armor stood ready. Eyes filled with purpose, the ship's AI spoke. "Admiral, full crew complement restored. Human population in Haven Colony stable." Ray looked over her people and smiled proudly. "Then it begins again," she said. "Not a war, but a return." She walked to the viewing glass, watching the stars shimmer. "Erebus," she said softly. "Open a transmission to the entire galaxy." The AI obeyed, its voice resonating through every frequency. The Admiral's face appeared across billions of screens. Her words were calm but unstoppable. "This is Admiral Ray Corrin of the Terran fleet. To all civilizations, to all worlds, hear us. We are not your enemies, but we will not be erased again. We have risen from the ashes of time, and we remember everything." Her voice carried across empires, through fear and wonder alike, and when the transmission ended, the stars seemed brighter. The Erebus turned toward the galactic core. Behind it, the Haven colony rose from dust, its cities glowing once more. Human banners fluttered under the new dawn. Children watched as the massive supercarrier ascended into the sky. The AI spoke softly. "Admiral, destination set?" Ray smiled. "Yes, the old home, Earth." The ship accelerated, leaving a trail of light through the void. Every empire tracked its movement, none dared interfere. As the Erebus vanished into hyperspace, the galaxy held its breath. For the first time in thousands of years, humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as survivors, as creators, as the rightful heirs of the stars, and every race that once mocked or feared them now whispered the same truth. The humans are awake, and the galaxy will never be the same again. The dawn of humanity had come, and this time, the stars themselves would remember their name.